wonderful and a privilege to be with you all tonight. For some of us, today is a joyous celebration, and for others of us, maybe we're feeling really tired. We have had some long and difficult months, and it's okay to hold all of that in this space. Some of us are standing on the precipice of realized dreams. Some of us are transitioning and allowing or trying to allow things to fall away. And so in this liminal moment that Shabbat is, we can allow ourselves to loosen. Loosen, 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 you try.
Loosen, loosen, loosen.
You don't have to carry.
You don't have to carry
The weight of the world.
the weight of the world
In your muscles and bones.
in your muscles and bones.
The weight of the world in your muscles and bones.
The weight of the world in your muscles and bones.
Let go, let go, let go.
Let go, let go, let go.
Beautiful. Let's sing that all together. Allowing what we need to loosen from us to fall away. Knowing that there is something greater than ourselves, God, the divine, the collective body of people in this room that can shoulder some of those burdens for us. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Hine Matov, how wonderful it is to be here together in community, letting go in this moment. If you would like the words, you can find them on page 10 of your Siddur. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. It is my pleasure to call up, for the honor of lighting our candles and offering Kiddush, Sarah and Goldia. Candles can be found on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own way be among those who kindle light.
We'll try that one more time. Or we can just switch.
We can just.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishaynu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik Our Kiddush can be found on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Praise to you.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
We take a drink, we say l'chaim, and as we bless this sweetness of creation, we move into continuing to welcome Shabbat with l'chadodi, this prayer, this blessing, this poem that recalls that anticipation, that sense of breathlessness and awe as we welcome in Shabbat for yet again what feels like the first time. Page 20. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 lechad dodi, L'krad kala, P'nei p'nei Shabbat nikavela, L'chad dodi, L'krad kala, P'nei p'nei Shabbat nikavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilecha, ki hi mikor ha'beracha, mirosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavati la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei p'nei Shabbat nikavela, ושמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני יום סגולה, מויחלה, מויחלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה, לה לה לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. We rise now for our formal call to worship, joining together first in the English on the bottom of page 29 and continuing into the words of Baruch Hu on page 28. Together, O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Please join me on the bottom of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Roll into dark, roll into light. If you need the words on your song sheet. Please feel free to be seated if you'd like to be. For those who are able, we'll remain standing through the calling of the Shema. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. We move into that moment of oneness with our calling of the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We'll join together in these words of Ve'ahavta on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha. Ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uvshochbecha uvekumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvish arecha. Lema'an tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai. V'hiyitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. V'hiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We join together in this setting of Ve'ahavta by Julie Silver. And my favorite part is that she comes back to, as a chorus, intentionally, this idea that we are teaching God's commandments to our children. And may we, in our daily lives, continue to live our values, our morals, our ethics, our traditions, so that we can pass them on as we are living to our children. Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when there was that day, that morning, that we arose. And we arose into calamity and chaos. And that was the day where we hurriedly packed up our belongings so quickly that we did not even have time for bread to rise. And we made our exodus from Egypt. And we were so close to Canaan, but we were not ready yet as a people. So instead of making it right there, we wandered in this strange wilderness, not the desert yet, until we came to this body of water, this vast body of water. And in that moment of liminality, we had to make a decision whether to go forward or to go back. Because once we took that step to move forward, we would be forever changed. And how do you move into something that is unknown? Every day we move, we don't know what might happen from one moment to the next. Something's here and something gets lost. And we have a choice in that moment to stay back or to move forward. And when we move forward, that's when the amazing miracle happens. That's when the sea splits. And we may not be completely healed yet, but we begin to take the steps of our journey onward. And that is the most important thing in understanding Mi Chamocha, is that one tiny step is enough to make the sea split and to continue onward on our journey, always knowing, even if we don't feel it all the time, that God is always at our back. So we sing Mi Chamocha, these words of our freedom song on page 40, with this in mind as we move forward. Mi chamocha ba'im limadonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'im limadonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora oseh, Nora So, whenever we get to that moment, Kodesh, in this particular setting, I haven't asked Danny Nichols this yet, but I will when I see him at Havana Shira one of these years. Why does he leave that chord sounding so open? And it does resolve and kind of feel like home, but it also doesn't. And there must be some reason why he does that. And I think he does that because even though we make it to the other side, we still know that we need some protection. We still know that We're working on ourselves. We're working on becoming and living more and more every day our truths as human beings. And when we do that, we're in this Bamidbar, this desert, which we are just about to move out of in our Torah portion this week. That this desert doesn't have what we need to sustain life. Somehow, miraculously, God wraps God's protective wings around us, God's shelter of peace around us, and that shows up in cloud by day and in fire by night, and that shows up in the manna that falls from the heavens so that we might be sustained, and in the water that always followed Miriam wherever she was, those living waters. And so as we sing together these words, Hashkivenu, may we always find sustenance in the places that we need it most. May we always find God's protection, God's shelter, God's comforting presence in those moments we need it the most. Hashkivenu is on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. 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 V'hamidenu shomreinu. We move deeper and deeper into our liturgy, hopefully loosening a little bit more along the way. We listen into Vishamru, our text that reminds us to always keep Shabbat and of that sacred relationship between God and the people of Israel. Page 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit We rise as you are comfortable and join together in our tefillah on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imavot, U'mevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. We join together on the bottom of page 50. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You rain dew upon us. You sustain life through love, giving life to all, through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts, who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up and faithfully giving life to all. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol. And on the next page, you are holy. Your name is holy. And those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God, and Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. And on page 61, these words on the very, very bottom of the page. By three things does the world endure: justice, truth, and peace. Rav Muna said, the three are one, because if justice is done, truth has been effected, and peace is brought about. Page 60. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Omecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Omecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol shalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol shalom. Letov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Please be seated. I invite you now to take a few moments of silent prayer, offering your own thoughts, feelings, prayers to God. Along with those prayers that we are sending out from our heart, we hold all of those whom we know and love who are in need of healing, a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. Perhaps it is even you who are holding yourself in this prayer, and perhaps you are sending this prayer out to someone who you don't even know. We join together in these words on page 253. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. We made it to Shabbat. And this week, as we begin the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim in Hebrew, we stand as a people upon the precipice of new life. The sermons and historical recountings that Moses begins to offer are a loosening of sorts, a loosening of his heart, an untethering of himself physically to his people, the land of Israel that he will never get to enter. It is a loosening that moves him toward something greater than himself. As he passes, of which we hear much later on in this book, Moses encourages his people to continue onward, loosening themselves from the last vestiges of slavery and confusion. The words he delivers in Deuteronomy serve almost as the world's first ethical will, and they form the foundation for Moses' legacy. This is a gift for all time, guidance when we are lost, wisdom to ground us when we are conflicted, laughter and empathy within our sadness, and forgiveness when we stumble. And if those words sound familiar or resonate with you at all, I encourage you to pick up both the book and the journal written by Rabbi Steve Leder called For You When I Am Gone. And it is not for you for when you're gone. It is an incredible wealth of guidance in demonstrating how we should be living our lives now into the future. A good friend of mine, a Jewish poet and teacher by the name of Rick Lupert, offers this commentary on Moses' historical recapitulation. Time jumps remind me of my own mortality. So many years have passed under my feet. I look in the mirror and, like the characters, I have no idea how either of us got here. How is it possible that I used to be locked behind the bars of a crib, and now I am free to operate a motor vehicle? Yes, it's funny how and where are we? Those words really spoke to me this morning. I open up every morning when I open up my email on Fridays, I get his poetry emails. Well, Shabbat has circled back once more and brought herself close to us. And as we ponder this bigger picture of how on earth did we get to this, we also picture and consider, well, where did this week go? How do we sift through all of the banality of this past week or this past year or the past compilation of years and extract those tiny scraps of paper we want to mark our time here on earth? We wrestle. In the words of Brene Brown, we rumble with our vulnerability, with our liturgy, in other words, prayer text. Liturgy is prayer text is liturgy, the words we pray throughout our service. With this text as our guide, we bring ourselves to the great arena of life, and in her words, dare greatly and allow our faces to become marred with the dust and sweat and blood and grit of our history. And all of that is Moses' ancient gift: guidance, wisdom, laughter, empathy, love, and forgiveness. We look into ourselves and our journey as Moses does, with introspection and honesty, and we face the truth with bravery. Moses wrestles through that rumbling, and he recognizes his faults and his learnings, his tiny scraps of paper that mark his existence lie within our Torah, particularly this book, as he proclaims his exasperation at these troublesome people he unassumingly chose to lead. His vulnerability in that moment elevates his most important lessons. He learned from his mistakes. He grew as a leader. He grew within the truth of himself by listening to others and by allowing them to help him carry his burdens, because he could not do it alone. He needed those sacred partners and leaders in his community. Moses' vulnerability and journey reinforces his faith. He reminds the people of Israel in this entire book of Devarim he reminds his people, and he reminds them of how he empowered them with courage and the knowledge of God's presence as they were moving through the wilderness, that they should have no dread or fear of their enemies, that God carried them all the way that they traveled until they came to this place, being the precipice on the mountain looking over into Canaan. Tonight we stand on our modern day precipice. We loosen our ties to the week behind. We reach for the week to come. In this place, we stand in the center of life's circle, that liminal moment of transition between ending and beginning. We rumble, dive into vulnerability, hopefully feeling God's presence, shouldering our burdens. This Shabbat is also called Shabbat Hazon. Hazon, other than referring to a chazan, also means vision. This Shabbat of vision always precedes Tisha B'Av, which happens this Wednesday night, the saddest day on our Jewish calendar. Dwelling within our sadness, it's important to note, is essential, as it drives us to move to a place of healing and renewal. As we prepare to recall the difficult journeys that befell us as a Jewish nation, much as Moses does in our weekly Torah portion, the prophet Isaiah reminds us that the only way forward is through vision and action. Moses' ethical will in Deuteronomy reminds the people of Israel of all they did to reach the promised land. Isaiah instructs us of all that we can do to bring our promised land to fruition as a repaired and healed world. Isaiah says, "Learn to do good, devote yourselves to justice, aid the wronged, uphold the rights of the orphan, and defend the cause of the widow." May we do just that as we continue our circle of life and liminality, of beginnings and endings, from childhood to adulthood and back. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Amen. We join together. I promise we will not sing all of these words. We will sing the first and the last verse. I think you probably all know it, the circle game. Oh, that's right. Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round. they go, and the painted ponies go. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't go back, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game. Holding that sense of life's circle, we move now into our space of memory, recalling all of our beloved ones, those whose memories are still fresh in our minds, those whose memories have not faded, but whose years away from us physically have also left their mark. And so tonight we recall and remember these names: Jose Maza, Henry Berg Brousseau, David Sean Bailey, Paula Erdley Delhyman, Norton Cohen, Elaine Egar, Jean Friedberg, Maxine Friedman, James Glasscock, Daryl Goldberg, Jerome L. Markovitz, Regina Markovitz, Ellen Faye Garman, Ellis Ballou, Charles Benzinger Sr., Gerald Bogoslavsky, Shirley Schwartz, Benjamin Abrams, Edith Friedman, Shirley Jaffe, George Civic, Edwin P. Solomon, Samuel Weintraub, Bluma Bespalova, Harry Meyer, Max Schulwolf, Emmeline Frank, Hinda Goldstein, Honora Sue Carr, Mike Kelly, Gerda Ackerman, Meyer L. Bacharach, Stanley Allen Diamond, John Frankel, Robert Ruby, Raina Young, Ray Young, and in recent days, Ginny Dieterich. We hold all of those names in our hearts as we rise now together for our Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malachuteh, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei almaya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiron be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom mimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha. May each name forever be a blessing. Please be seated if you like. Our closing song, you'll see, is on the bottom of the page, our final words of Oseh Shalom. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to care. carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, loosen. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Oh, say shalom, Biruma. Huya, say shalom, Aleinu. They all call Israel. Leimu, Imu, Amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Adonai, our God, fill us with love and laughter and empathy and wisdom and guidance and forgiveness and more laughter and more love. And help us to loosen our steps, loosen our muscles. Help us to remind us that we can lean into you at our back body, that we do not have to carry this whole world only on our shoulders. We say together, Amen. Say Shabbat Shalom to everyone who you know and you don't know, and I will see you in Jack's place for the Oneg. Hello. How are ya? Good.